Hey everybody, 'tis I, GodOfKnockers. Welcome to another lovely episode of Real Talk. I'm glad you guys are coming back and enjoying these things. It's episode 10. Yes, we got there, folks. And of course, on top of this, being the 10th episode, I'd like to celebrate by saying congratulations on 10 episodes. Woo! To myself. That makes zero sense. Forget I just said that. Okay, let's just move on to the subject at hand. Video game violence. Yes, for as long as I can remember, you've had politicians, you've had anti-gaming groups, Anita Sarkeesian, social justice warriors, and people who really don't know fucking nothing about video games talk about this amazing equation that video game violence leads to real-life violence, that people who play violent video games are going to become the next serial killer, the next violent school shooter, or just grab a gun and start shooting people up in general, all because they played a game that made them such. That's about as stupid to say that marijuana turns you into an insane sexual deviant who likes to kill people. Hence the movie Reefer Madness. That's what this is. This whole nonsense of video game violence is our, generation's Reefer Madness. Alright, there's tons of information that has been released on so many platforms. Adam Ruins Everything did an episode on video game violence, a couple of weeks ago from today, and there's been just copious amounts from several researchers, universities, all kinds of stuff that's saying that video game violence does not equate to real game violence. But yet, even after all that shit, you're always going to find that one person, that one parent, that one concerned politician. I'm using air quotes when I use the word concerned. Sometimes the NRA. Oh, God. My mom's a lifetime member. What the fuck, man? Who will always say that, hey, that violent video game that your kid's playing, it's gonna make him kill people. You gotta keep on it. Yeah, because the violence, man. The violence. No. Can we please stop? Let me stop you right there. The thing here is that people who are saying that about violent video games have, surprise, surprise, never actually played a video game before, especially a violent one. Anita Sarkeesian says she plays violent video games. That's not really true. She doesn't play any fucking games at all. She gets other people to play the games, and then she kind of backseat critiques that shit, which is kind of ridiculous. There were some articles on BuzzFeed, a couple of videos from them a few years back, where you had people talking about video game violence, because it's just depraved and shit, and it's this, that, and the other to women. Enough. What you need to do is that you need to hear from someone who has actually played video games, and in this case, obviously, the person that you're going to be talking to and listening to talk about video games and video game violence is this guy, alright? And I've got tons of credentials to back me up here. I've been playing video games since I was 4. Some say that I was born with a controller in my hand. No, they don't. That's just a joke I have. It's a little running joke. It's probably also one of the reasons why I almost, no, I'm not going to finish the rest of that joke. That's just, never mind. But I've been playing them since I was a kid, all the way up to now. And I have played my share of violent video games. I played Mortal Kombat 2. I've played the original Doom, the very, very, very original Doom, which I played on a very, very slow and highly expensive 486 processor-based PC. God damn, that type of computer was fucking expensive. I mean, we're talking 4-digit territory here. And I've played Metro Exodus. I've played just about every Grand Theft Auto game you can possibly think of. Do you see me picking up a gun and shooting people? No. I'm really not. Do I get salty over these games? Absolutely. But that type of saltiness is the same type of salt you would experience if your favorite team in your favorite sport was losing. Like if I see the Patriots losing, to insert team person here, I don't know. I do get upset over that. But it's only temporary, and it wears off, and then I calm the fuck down. When I'm playing Overwatch, or Rainbow Six Siege, or the current version of Doom, or something in GTA 5, or if I'm getting my ass handed to me by another player in those type of games, yeah, I do get salty, I get kind of pissed, but I don't go out, grab a gun, and it's like, hey, I want to shoot some people, and I want to kill them right here and right now. That does not happen. Okay? And people who have done most of that shit, the whole thing about playing violent video games and what have you, those people are not stable. And it really wasn't the games that made them that way, it was society. Okay? When it comes to society's problems, the main cause of all those problems is the people in said society. Okay? Yeah. It's not. It's not. I can't understand the correlation between this. I really don't. I play Overwatch, which I'm sure everybody and their grandma knows I play because I talk about it all the time. I play it almost every single day. I just realized there's like a small handful of days I haven't played it, and it's usually when I'm sick or I have errands to run. But primarily, sometimes I will lose in those games, sometimes I will vent, sometimes I will rage, sometimes I'll call a person and say, "What the fuck are you doing, man? That's not how you play that character. If you don't know how to play the character, switch it up, or at least do that shit in quick play," which I totally get. I now get why some people get upset when someone's trying a character out for the first time in comp, and they should take that to quick. I get it. That I get. But if you think I go out here and I start to pick fights with people, if you think I'm out here and I just beat somebody's ass, if you think that I'm out here and I'm just taking it out physically, engaging in physical violence, no, that doesn't happen. That's never happened. Okay? I know there's a lot of problems with our society. I know there's a lot of shit that we need to resolve, and a lot of things we need to fix. A president that we need to not re-elect for another 4 more years. This, that, and the other. The blah, blah, blah. The yakety schmackety. But to blame entertainment as to why we have those problems, to blame something that is supposed to take away the boredom in our lives, and to help ease our frustrations that life gives us, as the reason why there's so much violence in the world? No. That makes 0 sense. 0 sense. If I went out and committed actual acts of violence every single time I played a violent video game, I should probably be so buried under every single jail in the world. You probably have to crack the mantle and bury me there. That's how bad that would be. I don't see a whole bunch of people becoming serial killers and shit. I don't see that at all. If that's the case, Japan must be like Murder Central. Yeah. In Japan, they are 10 times more likely. They play video games more than we do. Some are mainly violent. You know, their crime is practically non-existent. They have 92 times less gun violence. And let's not talk about the gun debate issue. I'm just pointing that out there. Ever since video games made the scene, especially violent ones, the crime rate has dropped. So the more and more people are playing these games, the less crimes are being committed. Japan is definitely an exception to that one because, like I said, 92 times less gun violence and less crimes than the United States. They have virtually no crime there. It's none whatsoever. Now, if the crime that is committed, it's mainly shit that you can handle yourself. Oh, someone grabs your ass? Okay, beat the shit out of him right then and there. Give him a nice hard slap and get the fuck out of my face. Or get the fuck out of here. You know, that type of shit. What's up with that? If violent video games are what's the cause of all the violence that happens in a country, then Japan should be just overwrought with violence. But yet it is not. There's all kinds of data and research out there that can prove this statement to be 100% not true, that violent video games cause violence in the real world. And everyone avoids it. Everyone ignores it. Why? Because it's easy to take shots at an inanimate object or something that just really isn't real than it is to actually deal with the reality of it. From the movie Upgrade, it's easy to live in a fantasy world than to deal with the real one, because in a fantasy world there are no problems. In a fantasy world, whatever problems that there are, you can easily solve with a couple of mouse clicks and some well-timed presses of keys. You know, you're not hurting anyone, you're not getting hurt, so it's understandable why that would be the case. It's easy to blame entertainment on society's ills, because trying to break down and find the cause of society's ills in real life can take a really long time, and you're not going to be able to resolve it. You're going to get close, but you'll never actually get to that 100%. You can strive for it, but that's not what we really want, is it? We want the 100% satisfaction of knowing that whatever problem we have, we can get rid of it 100%. The reality of that is, no matter what society you're in, you can't do that. It's not possible. You can strive towards it. You might make 95%, maybe 97%, maybe 99%, but absolutely getting rid of the problem altogether, no, you can't do it. The only thing you can do is cull the problem, and find ways to prevent it from growing, maybe stop it in its tracks for a bit, you might get it to retract, which is good, but you'll never truly ultimately get rid of it. I think that's one of the major cruxes of that. I think in some way, we kind of know that we can never get rid of 100% of the problem. That whether we, go in one direction or in another, that no matter what we do, that problem will not be completely and fully eradicated. In some cases, we'll get a win, like with the measles outbreak. Back in 19 years ago, measles was all but gone in the United States. And then you had the anti-vax movement come in. And now we have measles outbreaks in New York, Washington State, several other states, because people have been misinformed, just like with the video game violence. That's the crux there. And who gives us that misinformation? Who says, hey, this causes this? Who tries to link this one thing with another? Well, the answer is obvious. Misinformation. And that is in society. The violent video game did not say, hey, go out and hurt somebody. The violent video game did not say, hey, all these statistics that you're talking about, video game violence, yeah, please prove them wrong and pick up a weapon and severely hurt someone. No, that's not how any of that works. It really isn't. It's just not a thing. People can be inspired by video games, people can be inspired by movies and books that they read, but whatever inspiration that they have, whatever knowledge that they possess, whatever shit they've gone through, it ultimately falls at their feet to figure out and resolve. Sometimes people will do some really smart stuff and they'll come to some proper conclusions on how to resolve an issue, and they'll pay that knowledge forward, and less bullshit will happen and all that good shit, and that's good. But sometimes people will go about the wrong way. They'll finally think, hey, you know what? I'm sick of this. I don't want to deal with this problem in bite-sized chunks. I want to take care of it in one fell swoop. And that's where you get gun violence. Some people will be too angry, and they'll completely lose all sense of rational thought. They'll just be subjected to violence. They'll be like, hey, I don't like these guys, so I'm going to grab a gun and I'm going to just start shooting. That's the best and ultimate way I can take these people out. That's the best and ultimate way that I can solve my problems in an instant. And that's basically society's fault. That's society's problem. That's assholes in the mix treating good people who just want to live and enjoy life the best way they can like pieces of shit, like scum, like something on the bottom of your shoe that should be scraped off and thrown into the garbage. Violent video games don't have anything to do with that. They just don't, guys. They really don't. There are lots of children who play violent games. There are lots of adults who play violent games. There's hundreds of millions of people all around the world who play violent video games, or video games to some degree. That does not automatically mean that that is a precursor to hurting someone in real life. It's just not. The proof and the evidence is there. You're just going to have to come to terms with it. And rather sooner than later, for a very long time, blaming entertainment for society's ills, no matter what form it is in, is just causing the problem to persist and continue. It doesn't really solve anything. Like right now, I believe in a few states, there are some assemblymen and politicians who want to pass a sin tax on violent video games. They say that that will help curb the violence in their state, and that's just not true. It doesn't work like that. Taxing a product doesn't really resolve the issue. Unless, of course, you're talking about smoking, in which case that kind of worked. But ultimately, this whole idea of taxing a product because you falsely think and incorrectly think that it promotes the violence in your city, your county, your state, no, that's just not going to work. It really isn't. Stop trying to use an inanimate object that really is just buttons and images and shapes and polygons shaped in the form of people as an excuse to avoid the actual problem. Instead, wise up, grow up, and solve the actual problem. It's going to be messy. You're not going to get that 100% eradication that you want, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't at least try. So please, stop blaming entertainment for society's ills. If you think that entertainment is the cause of that, if you don't believe me, look this stuff up. The research is out there. The actual facts and information that completely debunk that myth is out there. And if you get the chance, please, by all means, contact your local congressman or senator. Give them this information. Okay? they need to be informed about this too, because this stuff's getting just really tired and ridiculous. It's about time that we actually solved actual problems that we actually have, instead of blaming entertainment for our woes. We know what the actual problem is, so let's cut the crap and legitimately solve the problem. And that's all I gotta say about this current topic at the moment. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching this video on YouTube and Twitch. Go ahead and add this to your playlist on Spotify and iTunes and wherever you get your podcasts. I'm everywhere now. My podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts at. That's really cool. That's awesome. That's fantastic. I dig it. And please follow me on my Twitter at GodOfKnockers. Tell me what you think of the podcast, what you'd like to listen to, and give me your personal thoughts. I'd love to hear from you guys. I was GodOfKnockers, and it was real nice talking to you. Take care, have a great weekend, and of course, go play some games. Laters. Put your hands up when you feel that.